All right, so welcome to episode 1.5 of the Coaches Lounge, MSBA Season 4.
Yes, sir.
I'm your host with the most, Brandon.
I'm Dominic, the coach of the So-On-Side Stone Journers. We out here.
I'm the coach of the Bompton Bearticks, Swag
We
City.
might have a guest pop in, but we're not sure yet. We're just taking it easy for now.
He's in and out. He's in and out.
Yeah, he's washing dishes.
Like a true house man.
Sure. So, when we first started this, I think the first thing we did was we just went over the draft. So, let's take a look at the worst teams again.
Yeah.
I think we can start from that. And I mean, you can start.
I
want to start with the bashing.
For sure. I definitely think coming off the draft, I think Noah T, the Sirchester Senta Scorchers, might have the worst team on paper. Doesn't mean he's the worst player, but I definitely think
definitely not.
When you look at his team from top to bottom, from Incineroar to Raichu, and everything in between, it's just, I don't see it.
No. He's got these, sweepers that are, they're decent Pokemon, but, in this meta, and just in general, Haxorus can be a sweeper, but it has to have, perfect setup, and it doesn't have, the best speed tier. 97 is a good speed tier, but, you're not outspeeding most things. You have to get up some sort of speed control, and it can't win in Trick Room. And he's got Raichu for speed control, but, you have to constantly Thunderwave everything. In Braviary, you might as well always have Giant. You're planning on, U-turning and getting off Brave Birds, because that's your only support of speed control besides Trick Room. And the Pokemon he has to operate in Trick Room, Dusclops is not a Pokemon you win with in Trick Room. You win because of it. You win because of its support. You win because of its ally switching, night shading, pain splitting, will-o-wisping, all the support moves it gets. But he doesn't have anything that can win inside Trick Room unless you have a team that's somehow slow enough to use Incineroar and Clefable in Trick Room successfully. And he has Pokemon like Jellicent, which are good Pokemon. But like I said, those Pokemon don't win in Trick Room. They're the support Pokemon in Trick Room. How are you gonna come out and win with the Pokemon you have in Trick Room? You can't. Those Pokemon don't win in Trick Room. Maybe I repeated myself too much there, but
no, it's facts though. I mean, once he sets up Trick Room, you're really only afraid of the Snorlax. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's if he already got off a belly drum into the G-Max replenish. You know what I'm saying? So it's
right.
Once you see Trick Room come up, if you have a way to reverse the Trick Room, or even something that can tank, you're gonna be fine. It's just really playing around his Snorlax.
Yeah, and Dusclops. I mean, if he doesn't play some sort of, if you look at it his team, it's he either brings Incineroar, Dusclops, Clefable, Snorlax every single game, which he could, but Clefable's not even that good.
No.
It's not a problem. It's not like Clefairy. It's not getting the 1.5 defense, special defense boost with defend guard boost. It's not doing that. Clefable is just a Pokemon that's a fairy type, when he could have had, I don't know if he could have had Sylveon, but he could have had.
No, he could have had Sylveon because.
I think Brian.
No, Fuku took Sylveon late.
No, Brian's got Sylveon. But Fuku got Grimmsnarl in the 5th round. You would definitely rather have Pokemon like Grimmsnarl.
You're right, yeah.
Clefable. Clefairy got drafted after Clefable, another Pokemon that you prefer to have. It's just, I don't know, his team, it has 1 or 2 win cons. And it's not fast enough out of Trick Room to survive. It's not strong enough within it. Oh, is that B? B popped back in here, but he muted himself for now. But let's keep talking.
Yeah, we'll keep going. It's all right. Yeah, because we snaked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Sylveon was taken before he was able.
Yeah, chance to grab it.
Yeah, but I mean, he had
need for fairy type, but
he had access to Grimmsnarl.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, man, he had access to. Let's see, I don't know. I guess fairy types go earlier, but even Gardevoir would have been better than Clefable, because Gardevoir can actually put on offensive pressure. You're not gonna be dishing out a bunch of damage with the Fable, unless he's trying to like stall out the timer every single time, which I still don't think you can do that. I
That's
still
not
don't think
fair at
that's what
all.
he's gonna
Yeah,
do.
no.
I don't know. Unless he has like the perfect ally switch shenanigans, it's just not gonna work for him.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely going to be afraid when I see him, but
Right, he's a good
it's
battler, but
yeah, because he's a
he's
good player, and I feel like he might be able. You know what I mean? He gets into free agency, makes some trades. I feel like he's really. If I was him, I'm looking to move. I'm probably looking to move Braviary and Raichu for like slower mons. Somebody like
yeah,
something to
there's not
like.
enough synergy there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, because
But the
I don't
other
know.
issue is he can't. Even if he shifted to a complete trick room team, yeah, he could. He has two setters, and he has one Pokemon that operates really well in Trick Room, and then Snorlax, which also operates in or out of Trick Room. But like, even if he trades Braviary, which is like only Speed Control Mon, there's two Speed Control Mons that aren't Trick Room related. How if he gets two Trick Room Mons to replace them? I don't know how he beats some of these other Trick Room teams. Like, I don't think the power would even be there with trades. So it's just like he's put himself into this awkward spot. I don't know, man. That's not champion like of Noah. That's why he didn't win the championship.
I mean, but you have to admit he played for the chip.
He
So
did.
so
Damn.
we have
Sorry,
to
let's
we
hear
have to
some
give him some
commentary
type of
from myself.
credit. What'd you say, Brian?
He just said damn. He just popped in to say damn because he's listening live.
Hey,
So
listen.
good.
I mean, we're not trying to bash on Noah. We're just saying we're just
No,
looking at
nah,
we're looking at what he produced from our draft.
yeah, nah. And another team. I mean, I think I talked about it last time, but I know Fuku. Like, I've never battled Fuku, but based on what I've heard from you and Noah, like, he's a good battler, and like, I do think that his strategy of just drafting Mons that like other people would maybe want to like swing trades is like a good strategy, but it's also like you said, it was high risk, high reward. Like, you pick three Prankster Mons, you got three Fairy types, three Grass types.
For
Like, you did
Prankster,
like four.
right? Because
Togekiss, no, Whimsicott, Grimmsnarl, Sableye. That's it.
for some reason I always think Togekiss gets Prankster. I don't know why.
Nah.
Gets
But
super
like,
luck.
his like mode of winning is like, yeah, he has a Fairy Steel Dragon core, but like, I don't know, like, he can do a bunch of prankster shenanigans, but where's the besides Togekiss and Duraludon, like, there's no like real offensive pressure. Like, the Simi and Serena are strong physical attackers, but like, I don't know, like, where this team like gets its damage output. He's missing so many typings. Like, if he doesn't make the moves he's expecting to make, then it doesn't make sense. And if he wants to like pick up Pokemon that like are on free agency and like try to trade those to people to get what he wants, why would someone just trade for something that just got picked up off of free agency right after the draft? Like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, no.
So
I
I'm
I
just a
mean,
little like, I don't know. Go ahead.
well, no. I think he's in like a really good position. Like, but like you bring up a good point with no one's gonna really want to trade for something off the waiver wire right after the draft. But I feel
Right.
like with Fuku, he has enough where he can like package together, like one of his
Yeah,
pranksters
like,
with like
but he's
an
got to be like 2 for
Espeon
2s.
or Barraskewda,
Yeah.
and then now he could send that to Mitch. So like I feel like the scariest trade could happen would be like if Mitch got Barraskewda and like let's say probably like Sableye or one of his
Oh,
pranks, just one of his pranksters is not
right,
Whimsicott.
right.
You know what I mean? Like so if Fuku comes at Mitch with like a Barraskewda and like Sableye, and now Mitch is giving up like a Torkoal and like a Gengar or something like that, I'm like afraid. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Fuku's
Yeah, I
literally
mean,
just like one or
he could
two
shift it
power
down
mons
easily,
away
but
from like blowing this league out.
yeah, I don't think like, even if he gets like those power mons, like, I feel like his team is like, I do think like Togekiss Whimsicott's good, but it's also like, other than Duraludon, like, this team gets destroyed by most poison types, except for like the Simeon and SBI. I don't know. I feel like it's a good team. Like if he makes the moves, but if he can't make the move, he either has to shift completely, and it might be too late at a certain point. Like he might get the team he wants at week 7 or 8, but if his record is like 2-6, like at the time, or 3-5, like the run might not be able to be made. You know, so
Yeah,
I don't know. So it just depends. Like if he starts too slow, like the league is much more competitive than last year. Like there's way better battlers. The teams are better because people drafted better, for the most part.
everybody
But
got the draft too.
yeah, so it's like more what people wanted. Like they're more comfortable using these. So I don't know. If you're just coming in to draft to just take stuff away from people, and that's your entire motto, and you don't have a definite plan to use those other than trying to wheel and deal. If someone doesn't want to wheel and deal, then you're just stuck in this loop of, well, what do I do now?
Yeah, just like fuck.
I don't know who else. I'm trying to think of like who else we could talk about. I mean, we talked about. Let's see who else.
Josh's
I mean,
team
we
is
know there was.
scary to me.
Yeah.
Just because of that
Go ahead.
Mr. Rhyme in the fourth round. Like, I know we talked about it last time and it got deleted, but the fact that this man, like, I'm going to scroll over to, like, the draft selections so everybody who's going to watch
Right.
this can see, like, who he could have took in the fourth round. But this man took not even Mr. Mime. He took Mr. Rhyme. Like, that was the most terrifying draft pick I've ever seen in my life because all it said to me
Yeah.
was, this man is coming for your throat with something you've never seen before.
Yeah, we were on the snake back up, so he could have taken like the stuff that went after him was like Porygon Z, Raichu, Grimmsnarl, Gengar, even Dracovish, Galarian, Slowbro. Like those are just like types of Pokemon that are like strong, and it's just like he picked that instead. I think he said something about possibly being at a dance practice and like just not knowing what round it was. If that's the reason, and we're just overhyping this Mr. Rhyme tech, that'd be incredibly disappointing. But I'm expecting Josh to give Noah Baker the runaround with Mr. Rhyme in week 1.
I'm
He
not
said that he
hearing
was scared of that himself.
I'm not hearing the dance practice excuse. The draft started. First of all, the draft started like 25 minutes late. Second of all,
True.
everybody was in there. So even if you thought it was a later round, you knew you only picked 3 Pokemon before you picked Mr. Rhyme. You knew it. Like you had to know
Yeah,
in your
that's
head,
true.
all right, I only remember picking Porygon 2, G-Weeze, and Volcarona.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel it though. You know what I mean? You could throw the scent off with the whole, oh, I didn't know what we were doing. But just know, I know Josh is scheming up to something. And when you hear this, Josh, I want you to know, I know you're up to something.
that team is really good in Trick Room. Like Porygon 2 is great setter. Clefairy, Scrafty's really good in Trick Room. Scavalier, oh, that's a great behind Trick Room, especially against some of the stuff. Like if you put a Scavalier up against Fugu's team, it sweeps.
Well,
Literally, I don't think that he can have anything for a bug type besides Duraludon.
well, and that's the crazy part about it is like, I feel like Steel is the best typing because it's strictly
Yeah.
just weak to fire.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So for him, I feel like Excavalier under Trick Room, he's gonna go stupid, and I just can't wait to see
Yeah.
it. I just hope I'm not caught slipping.
And he Volcarona and Rotom Mo, like, even though, like, we talked about Noah Troyer having Haxorus and Bravier, like, those Pokemon are good outside of Trick Room, obviously, but they're not, like, the fastest. Not only these two Pokemon, but these two Pokemon have, like, they're not super frail. Like, Rotomo's a little frail, and Volcarona can be frail without Sash or heavy duty boots. But, like, those Pokemon operate in Trick Room enough where you can, like, they're bulky enough where you can play around it.
That
I think that he has a mode out of it.
and Rodon Mo gives him he can switch out of that when he wants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like there's a lot more utility there with that Rodon Mo because you get the what is that Volt Switch. You know what I mean? So like if
Yeah.
someone does, let's say, throw out a threat there that the Rodon Mo might not be able to handle, at least he has the ability to, all right, let me
get out.
get out of here now, and then I'll come back. You know what I mean?
Switch something
So
else in. Like he could like he could leave like let's see Rotom mode in Porygon 2. He might be trying to set up Trickery. He could literally just Volt switch out first turn and then spring in like a fairy to get the friend guard boost for the rest of the thing with Porygon 2. Even though that's not killing much, but that's just an example of something you could do.
yeah, it's
Porygon 2 is versatile enough mon where you could run it like a bulkier one with a bunch of HP and defense, or you can run, but the Violate is just so tanky no matter what. You could run a little bit of special attack investment. You could even run it with a little bit of speed investment. It doesn't always have to be min speed. You could Porygon 2 is not. It could speed creep something easily. So it's like one of those mons where it's just like you can run this Pokemon so many different ways and it can be successful that it's like type based. It's not a Pokemon where you have to run 252 speed, 252 attack. Like it's not cut. It's cut different. I'd just say it's cut different.
yeah. I also like his Clefairy P2 lead. I
Yeah.
feel like is so filthy because he gets the free Trick Room off, and then
Yeah.
Clefairy's kind of bulky enough where like she's not gonna like truly die. Like you're not gonna OHKO the Clefairy, especially if he's running Eviolite on it, which I would hope.
Yeah.
You might OHKO it if you send two if you send two moves into it, but even then, he just got his Trick Room up for free. He's got a free switch in. Now his Excavalier or his G-Weeze or something's coming in and it's about to just blow you up real fast. So
Yep.
I definitely like where
It's a,
his team's going.
it's a good team. It. I don't. I think there's a couple things where like maybe he could improve. Like he doesn't. I don't know, but I think for the most part, like this team's pretty good. Like it has like those weird Trick Room mons like Crawdaunt and Delmise, but you know that those Pokemon pack punch. So I don't know. He doesn't have that many special attackers besides Mr. Rhyme and Volcarona. I mean, he does. I guess he does. Maybe I'm just. I
Uh,
don't know. Seems
Volcarona is
fun.
not a terrible special attacker. I just feel like it's not
You
as
have to get up a
good. I feel
Quiver
like it's just
Dance.
been nerfed.
Yeah, you have to get up a Quiver Dance, but it's still decent. Like his team is good. Like that's the thing. If you look at most of these teams, like they have modes that are like definitely really good. Like every single team has a mode where it's like, oh, like this would definitely be usable.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that another team that I think is, I mean, we can talk all day about. We talked in chat about Mitch's selection of Torkoal. I don't. I want to ignore it for the most part because like he had so many different things that for his team would have been good. Like yeah, he picked the Great Weather Center just so people can't use it as a counter to him. I don't think he realized that, and Noah touched on that last time. Like we don't think he picked Torkoal because he was trying to take a drought user away. We just think he picked it because he liked it, and he'll probably admit that. But it probably helps him that it's on his team, not anyone else. But I think just where he selected Torkoal and what was still on the board that would have helped his team, like that loss value, I compare this to how Noah Troyer picked Clefable in the third round. Like there's so many different things that could have helped your team that like picking the best weather setter apart from your great weather setter and Politoed that like counteracts it. Those two Pokemon can't work together. I feel like if that was like a 6th round pick, it would have been way better than if it was a 4th round pick, just based on what was still on the board.
Yeah, but I mean, at
Like,
least now he knows. I don't mean to interrupt you, but at least now he knows like his Polito's
no,
rain is
I was done.
always going off until he sees a
Yeah,
Tyranitar. You know what I mean?
yep, and that's got to be a min speed Tyranitar because I don't know, maybe Politoed. I think they have the same speed tier. I think they're both 60, but I don't know.
I think they're
Besides Torkoal, Mitch's team is clean.
well.
It's cleanish. It's cleanish.
I don't think
Clean.
he knows, like you were saying, Torkoal is the best weather setter and everything, but he truly set himself up to succeed. You know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
take his team, if you take the word Mitch off of the Ludicolo Rain Dancers, and you just looked at this team, you'd probably think to yourself, all right, like this team is actually really interesting because every week he knows my rain is going up and there will not ever be a Torkoal that can stop me. Even if he leaves the Torkoal on the bench the whole season, never gets any stats, no kills, no assists, he never brings the Torkoal. He knows Politoed is going off for free every single game. Every
Yeah,
single time he sits down, he starts to plan out who he's bringing and everything.
he
Politoed
said
will
one rain, he'll
resolve
get one
every time.
ring. And he's got like Pokemon that like Toxtricity works really well in rain because it can get off 100% accurate thunders. Togedemaru, I mean, electric types really benefit from rain, and he has a lot of. He does have a lot of special attackers. Like every single mon, like I guess Blastoise can technically be a physical attacker, and so can Komolo, but everything else is special attacker, except for Solar Pete. It's like that might be a mode where he needs to like try to fix it up or like try to do something different a couple times a week or a couple weeks just to see like to throw his opponent off like physical Blastoise is not unheard of. But like I don't know, like that might be his main weakness that he doesn't have anything physical threat. So someone could just plan a bunch of special bulky mons and try to get around him that way. But I mean, his team's pretty good, you know.
Yeah, I like his team.
No,
I truly like his team.
yeah.
There's not many people in this league I'd swap teams with. Mitch probably isn't one of them, but I would if he convinced me the right way. Pause. I would definitely be into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, a perfect Pokemon for like what he could have done instead of like, I mean, if he drafted Barraskewda, I don't know. Like, did Google go before Mitch? I think he did. So never mind. Oh wait, yeah, I don't know. But like something like that would have been crazy on Mitch's team. Like you discussed that earlier. I think another team that's like thinks they had a bad draft. I keep telling Benny like his team's not that bad. Like that first four, like yeah, maybe you could have got Hippowdon a little later because it's not like super great in VGC, but like Excadrill, Rotom, Heat, and Gastrodon, like those are all great picks. And Hippowdon, like even though it was the second round, it was early. Like that's still like the best Sandstream setter that was on the board. Like you have a great Sand core. You have the best Mold Breaker users on your team. Like Excadrill can run Mold Breaker or Sand Force or Sand Rush. And the one Pokemon that causes Rotom Heat problems is Excadrill, and you have that on your team, so you're not worried about taking the Earthquake or high horsepower because you have that on your team. You have the Pokemon that can hit through Levitate. I
And
mean,
Gastrodon.
yeah, he has Storm Drain user to like get away. The only thing that eats is a problem is Grass types and Rotom Heat. If you get Ally switches off of Rotom Heat, you're making Heat plays.
You're
You have
eating
like
all of those.
yeah,
You're eating all
so
those grassy glides with the this ally switch. That's like Benny's team is pretty solid for him not to know we were drafting
yeah.
VGC. You know what I mean? Like his
Like
first four,
Aegislash is a good mon.
great
Like
mon,
even with the 10%, the 10 attack and special attack nerf,
which was
like
messed up.
I don't know if you knew, it's yeah, but that was for singles. Like Aegislash still operates well, and you can run physical or special. They're both the same. You know that's still a good mon. And Mienshao has the it's fast and it has U-turn, regenerator. It has reckless. It can do a bunch of damage. Or it can be like a support fighting type. I think it has a niche, especially in this league where it's like, okay, what is Mienshao going to be ran like? I think the team's quite solid. I think it's good, and he has the best Lycanroc form.
Easily
So
the best Lycan
that's
rock
why.
form.
And I mean, I hate Umbreon. Everyone knows I'm not an Umbreon fan, but I've lost Umbreon at VGC. You can run it the same dang way. It's like that super physical but helping hand support Umbreon with like foul play. It's available, and he can even run the Zoroark shenanigans. Like you can Dynamax Pokemon, and it could be Zoroark, and it could like act as the Powdon. Like no one would know until
Yeah,
it uses the move.
yeah.
I
Benny's
think
team
it's
is
a more
pretty
decent
solid.
team.
Like the more you look at it, it's like, hey, he's
Right.
gonna do a lot of damage.
Like I'm not sleeping on it. We're battling either tomorrow or Friday. I'm not sleeping on it, but you know, I'm gonna be ready. But I don't know how ready.
I'm gonna be
But we'll
ready.
have fun. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we don't. I mean, if we talk about some teams like Justin's team is just like an issue. Like he's got he's got Alakazam, he's got Indeedee, he can do the expanding force shenanigans all day. He's got
Gothitelle.
Irving, he's got Tailwind support with Talonflame, Riolu for coaching, he's got Weavile for whatever the hell he's gonna do. That
Just the
Cloaking Speed,
coverage.
Trick Room. Yeah, he doesn't have a steel type, he does not have a fairy type. He had a lot of psychic types. Like this team gets ran by a dark type though, or a ghost type. So he does need to be like leery of that. But like the best type, one of the best Pokemon to counter this team is Weavile, and he has it on his team. So that's another thing. Like I feel like a lot of people have draft Pokemon and then they pick up the best counter for them. And I don't know if they're doing it intentionally, but they just are doing it coincidentally,
Yeah,
which is impressive.
it's smart. Well, like you said, whether they're doing it on accident or intentionally, um, I like that. I hope they're doing it with the intentions of, okay, you get 10 picks, you gotta, it's a snake draft, everyone's going, you know what I mean? Everyone kind of comes into this with like a whole set, like, all right, well, this is sort of what the team I want, you know what I mean? Like, you get a skeleton and you kind of draft around that, you see what pieces can be replaced easily and where, and you go from there. And I think he had a score he wanted, which was the Riolu and DDD, Rillaboom, Alakazam, and because he had Nddd as a keeper, he was able to keep that. And then he had the first pick, so he was able to go Rillaboom, and then we just let Alakazam fall all the way back to him again at the top of the second round or the
Xavier didn't try to pick it up.
third
He
round.
picked Rhyperior instead, which is fine.
Yeah, we'll allow that. But yeah, I truly think he's set up. Justin's set up perfectly. Where
How many of those did you pick? You said you picked some of those.
I picked his last three. So he told me he wanted after his DDD keeper, because you know how he's playing basketball for money.
Yeah, he was hooping.
Yeah, he told me he wanted Drampa for the, and then I was like, oh, well, you need a Trick Room user, so I helped him. I got him Slow King and Weavile.
That's fair.
Yeah, you know, so just helping him out.
You only picked two. You only picked two.
Yeah, because he told me he wanted, when he drafted Riolu, he said next pick get me Drampa because he had that back to back.
Right. Okay, that's fair. What was I gonna say? Oh, that's just a good team. Like it's gonna be a problem, I think. I mean, let's touch on some of the other teams like this real quick. Like besides their own
Adam.
Adam. I mean, I was gonna wait on Adam's team because they played that match.
Okay, we could definitely do that. We can come back to that.
Blake and Adam's team. I mean, Jacob's team is pretty good. He's got the, the Goodra again. He's got a little bit of water support. And Kellyanne and Primarina might be a little bit repetitive. You know, they're both really special attack. They're really strong water special attackers.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that one.
Operates a little bit bulkier, but and I don't know about the Gmax Machamp in the fourth round. There are better fighting types available at the time, and Gmax Machamps like move with the the crit. I still think that +1 attack boost is better, and I also think the same thing for the +1 speed boost with Corviknight's Gmax move. But that's like besides the point. But other than that, like that team's like really strong. Like it's got good coverage. You can run a little bit of sand if you really wanted to with like Rock and Gigalith. It's a good team. Like it's well rounded. I want to see how he uses it because it's a lot of the same mons he used last year. But I still think it'll be a good team.
Yeah, I'm always weary of the Gmax or basically just the Gmax fighting Pokemon, just because like I feel like every single competitive Pokemon gets Hurricane, and if you are able to boost your stat, I feel like a +1 Hurricane into Gmax Machamp from like anything, not anything, but like let's say like Gmax Charizard, or if you send like a Dynamax Gyarados, or especially a Dynamax Gyarados off Moxie, I feel like Hurricane is gonna Oko Machamp. You know what I mean? I just feel like he's just weak to like that flying type, just because of how common.
Yeah.
Everybody's running either Hurricane or Acrobatics on almost anything. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what move to put in there.
Like
throw a flying type in there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it just like even Rillaboom gets acrobatics. You know what I mean? So now you're running into a Gmax Rillaboom, that Gmax Hurricane, do. Or not Gmax Hurricane, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I got you.
Max Airstream. That's what.
Right. If I'm looking at everything else, let's see. I mean, Sylveon, Brian's team is pretty good. I mean, Tangrowth, I've discussed this with him. I think Tangrowth was like, it's not that great in VGC. It's physically bulky, but it can't even special hit. But like that top 3 is scary. Like Sylveon, top 4. I mean, Cinderace, Keeper, probably one of the best top Pokemon you see right now. Urshifu, that's a great Pokemon. Rotom Wash. With Rillaboom running around, it's less common, but this is a draft league. Not everyone has Rillaboom, so
Exactly.
that's a really good pick. I mean, Valiant, that's a dirty mon, especially in the sixth round, and he has Klefki shenanigans.
I
He
just
has
don't feel like
Ice. He has
Klefki's that
Hail.
good in VGC.
That's fair.
Like I feel like
Klefki is
Brian's team is
rough.
really good for like his top four is a VGC team, and then
Mhm.
from Tangrowth to Klefki, I feel like is singles, and then Beartic I feel is a great pick for uh, just because of his swift swim ability. So it's like something you could bring against like me or Mitch and have
Yeah.
have benefits from the rain. You know what I mean? Like added
Right.
benefits. So it's like, okay, you're benefiting from the rain. I see your Pelipper. I see your Politoed. Cool. I'm gonna bring this Beartic, who I'm not really sure of Beartic's whole move pool, but I know he has Swift Swim, and that's all that's
Right.
scary. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I definitely
I
think his
think his
team is
team is
solid
really
and
good. Like,
scary.
and if he comes back on his old shit, I mean, not everyone's battled against Brian before, but he used to be the king, before he got. I don't think he got dethroned, but he, if he comes back with like full force this season, or at least like 80%, like he's gonna be like one of the biggest problems, and people who haven't battled against him before are gonna have like you're not gonna know what hit you right. He's got tech, he's got the caliping ability, he can do it.
Dom,
So
if he didn't win the championship, he was dethroned.
that's fair. I mean,
It's not even
that's the same
hate.
for me.
It's not even. It's just that's actual facts. If you win the championship and you get a crown, and then you don't repeat, you were dethroned. I'm sorry.
Why don't you talk about Noah's team for a minute? What do you think about Noah's team?
Noah Baker.
Yes, sir.
Noah
Yes, sir.
Baker's team is really interesting to me because when you look at it, you see he's got great support mons, I feel like, with Comfey and Amoongus. That Rage Powder is fire. And the fact that he looks like Amoongus and drafted Amoongus in the first round really, really warms my
Oh
heart.
man, I can't believe you just said that, man. He's gonna get so mad.
Bro, I
I
said
hope
that
he
to him
doesn't.
in the draft.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear that.
When he drafted Amoongus, I unmuted myself and I said, "You look like an Amoongus." And then I muted myself. But I like his team. I
Oh,
like
so
the
I just
Durant at the back. I think anything that's steel, I always value steel over anything else because like it's just like I think steel's the best type.
okay. Thank you, Brian. Sorry, he's cooking in the back, so I'm out here trying to communicate my hunger desires at the same time.
I understand.
But yeah, Noah's team. I mean, those are all Pokemon Noah knows and likes to use besides Urshifu because he hates Legends. But like that team it has a lot of the modes that he likes to use. I mean, Marowak can be a problem. He has Trick Room with Slowbro and Reuniquist with Marowak. Like that's going to be an issue, and he can win outside Trick Room easily with Urshifu.
Yeah.
Amoonguss can be in or out of Trick Room. Durant, I mean, he said he might trade it. Comfey is a great Pokemon. I mean, Stoutland has Intimidate, and Morpeko is just a nuisance. Like that's a good team. Like I look at that, it's like okay, that might be an issue. I think the last team I want to touch on before we like keep going is Xavier's team because that man drafted to cause issues.
Hey,
But he has it could. We talked about this. We hope like it's not like pigeonhole. He might think like, oh, I have to do this every game. I don't remember exactly what Noah was saying, but like, you touch on that for a second because I'm trying to think.
oh no, you're good. It was my thing with his team is it's scary because
Right,
it comes off like it's like super mono trick room,
and it's not.
and it's not. And
Oh,
the thing that like threw me off with his team was when I first saw him draft. And I know like Gmax Hatterene was his keeper. Uh, I thought he would have kept. I thought he would have Gmax Butterfree.
right.
I truly felt like Gmax Butterfree being able to put stuff, multiple things to sleep or badly poison under Trick Room with a Rhyperior in the back, I feel like would be way more advantageous
Right.
if I'm using that word correctly. But
I think you are.
yeah, no, I definitely think his like I play him week 1 and we have a schedule for Friday and I'm like nervous
Let's
because
go.
it's there's I feel like there's a lot he can do with that team if with like this all this untapped potential, even with like the Scyther and the Technician with a dual wing beat, the Pinchurin. I feel
The Pincurchin, the Electric Boy.
I don't understand that Pokemon to be honest with you.
Yeah, it just does damage and it's kind of slow, but it's got a high special attack stat that sets electric terrain up. The main thing I'm concerned about is like he might try to do way too much like terrain shenanigans. Like he might try to do the Lion Claws are solely for terrain pulse rather than just like his other moves like Aura Sphere and Water Pulse are still great. Protect is good, Dark Pulse is good. Like I feel like I hope he doesn't just like try to always pigeonhole himself into Trick Room or always pigeonhole himself into terrain like because his team is versatile, but it's like at the same time, it's like he might have. This might be crazy, but he might have like too many options sometimes. And I feel like I've also had this issue where it's like, what would be best for this week? I hope that you could have like four different options on one team, but if they're not all like cohesive enough to work like at once, then the team might just fall apart. So I'm just like, he has something like Porygon Z, which does not work in Trick Room, but like can win on its own.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've seen like when Porygon Z did the Dynamax online, the timid like adaptability shit. Like it's not that's a problem, you know. And paired with the needy male, that's like that's a good trio. So I don't know. I think his team will be good though.
No, I definitely think his team is gonna be good. I'm afraid of him. I'm I wouldn't say I'm more afraid of his team than other teams, but I would definitely say he has one of the more.
He's got a balance. The team is balanced too.
Yeah,
Like
his
there are
team is
things that
super
take
balanced.
like Gmax, like not Gmax, Galarian, Darm, and Parisian, like both of those Pokemon are strong. They're very strong.
Yeah,
And he has a mix of special attackers and physical attackers. I think it's a problem. But why don't we jump back into the season preview? We did the draft. Let's go back into the season preview where we think, okay, where do we think people will fall? So like more of the playoff predictions,
yeah, we could get
and
there.
then but the main about the playoff predictions now we have a record. We have two teams with a record now. So
This is true.
we
All right,
got.
before we
Why
get
don't
into
we talk
that,
about the game of the week?
hold on.
Okay, go
Let's
ahead.
let's go into our weekly predictions real quick, just because we already had a gameplay.
Yes, sir. So game of the week was played. We'll talk about the game of the week after. But
Yeah, we could do that.
Ryan is doing research, so he probably won't jump into this besides for that Dan. But what do you think between Jacob and Fuku?
Um, I have Fuku pulling it out
Right. I think that's what I
2-0.
said. 2-0?
Yeah.
If I'm looking at this matchup, I think I also picked Fuku. I think it was Noah that picked Jacob. I can't remember, but I mean, Fuku, if his team is as is right now, he has like three grass types. Grass destroys Jacob's team.
Yeah.
That's like the main reason why I picked Fuku. And I think that, I don't know, that's like, I'm not even going to talk about that anymore because I think that's just a 2-0 win just based on what Fuku has against Jacob. It's just a bad matchup.
From top to
Now,
bottom. And the
yeah,
only thing I could think the only like I see Jacob coming out of this is Fuku catching like some hacks or at the end if Jacob can withstand the hacks and like play through it, if Fuku just ends up not having enough power at the on the back end, you know what I mean?
right.
I could
No, yeah.
see that, but I could see Duraludon sweeping, but Primarina is a problem. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah, it's up in the air, but I think that the advantage is definitely Fuku in that matchup.
yeah.
So in the second battle, we got Noah Troyer and Justin. Who you got? I think I said Noah in this. I said Noah would upset Justin. Because I do think that Noah has a decent matchup against Justin. Like he has Incineroar is the ultimate. counter against Justin's team. It is because he's got all these psychic types, and Incineroar counters really good, except for High Horsepower. That's like the best matchup Noah Troy could have week 1 to try to get off his poor draft, because that team matches up really well against Justin's team. It's like the only team that matches up well against his team, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I have Justin winning 2-1 in a close game 3, just off of. I think at the end of the day, the Riolu Rillaboom, I feel like is gonna sweep a lot.
Do you think that he's going to bring that? I think that he'll try to bring like Talon Flame, but maybe he'll use Psychic Force. I don't know what Justin will do. I haven't talked to him.
There's too much. There's too much he can do.
Yeah.
But
Noah's team eats up Psychic Spam.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I didn't think about. Yeah, hold on now.
I think I have Noah winning 2-1. I think Justin can take one, but I think that Noah's team just matches up like perfectly against it.
Yeah, this is literally what Noah wanted right here. That's yeah. I think it's gonna be close. I hope they don't time out.
Time out? I don't think that'll be an issue.
So in the third game, we got you versus Benny. And
I'm not gonna touch that. I think I said last week that I'm confident in my abilities, but like, it's not. I don't want to predict my own matchup.
All right, well, I will. And I got you beating Benny. On the scorecard, I got 2-0. But if you are sleep on my man's Excadrill Hippowdon and the possibilities of him bringing that in the back, I feel like you could lose a game. But the fact that you don't have any real water threats to his team, yeah, you have Slowbro, but I don't think Slowbro is exerting the same amount of threat that a Blastoise or even a Primarina would.
No.
So I don't think his Gastrodon does as much in this matchup as it would for other matches. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I could see that.
I got a grass type, don't I? I got Venusaur.
Yeah, you have Venusaur.
So, yeah, I mean, I think I have a decent matchup, but I need to play well. I can't sleep. That's a decent enough team where he easily beat me.
Yeah, I like your Teriyaki.
Yeah, it's decent in that matchup too.
Yeah, because I feel like that's going to help you out against the Rotom Heat.
Oh yeah.
Because Rotom Heat, I feel like could really destroy your Venusaur if you don't get the sun up.
Yep. Yeah, I am a little. That's the one Pokemon I'm a little scared of, is the Rotom Heat. I'm trying to figure out how to beat it, but I got a day or two to beat it to figure it out. So I'll find out what happens.
I'm sure.
What's the next matchup?
We got Josh versus Noah Baker.
Oh, I think I got Noah in this, but I think that this is Josh's time. He's got to pull up the Mr. Rhyme tech now.
I got Josh winning.
You do? Talk about that.
100%. Listen, I believe in Mr. Rhyme. I didn't believe it when I saw it, but the more I sat back and thought about it and was like, whoa, hold on now. He can do something.
That thing gets eaten alive by Durant.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I feel like if Josh sets up Volcarona correctly, Volcarona destroys Durant.
True.
Durant's 4 times weak to fire. You get off a heat wave. If one Quiver Dance goes through, that heat wave is OHKOing.
That's true. But I mean, Lapras, that's pretty good against Josh's team, I think. Well, no, actually not really. I'm looking at it again. It's not bad. I mean, Lapras is always just a good mon in general. But
he could do some things with that Rotom Mow that could hinder that Lapras.
But I think Marowak, at the end of the day, can just beat that team.
I always forget. I'm looking at Alolan Marowak, and I always forget he has it.
It's such a good mon. And I know it's going to be hard to find a good one, with no speed and all that. I don't know if he's going to use no speed, but, that thing still wins in Trick Room, too. If he wants to set up Trick Room, Have fun dealing with your lone Marowak because that beats all your sweepers in Trick Room. Every single one, except for maybe Crawdon. But if you got Crawdon on Marowak 1v1, like, yeah, Crawdon's going to win. But Marowak, besides that, just destroys it.
Yeah. Yeah. Alone Marowak will be
But this is Josh's time to try. You know, this is his first game against the de facto commissioner, Noah Baker.
de facto. Listen, he beats the commish. He has to hit the group chat talking shit.
Yeah.
He has to.
We need someone else talking more shit besides Mitch.
Bro, right? Like Mitch and Justin cannot be the only ones because neither of them made playoffs last year.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah, I don't know.
Next game.
We got game of the week.
You want to save that one for last?
Mm-hmm.
Next one up is me versus Xavier.
I think I got you pulling it out, but I think it'll be close. I think it'll be 2-1. The main issue for you is T-Max Hattery, and you know that. Like, that thing can destroy your team if you're not careful.
Yeah, I know.
If it's a Trick Room up before you kill it, it's bad news. Hell, he could technically even, like, go first turn and try to just kill you with a max smite if he just Dynamaxes to get rid of you, or uses NDD follow me.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Walls right here.
I just want you to know, unlike you, I will be talking about my matchup. And Xavier, when you hear this, I want you to know I'm coming for your throat. And I want you to know, when you look at my team, you see the Dragapult, the Azumarill, the Kingdra, the Pelipper, the Dracovish.
I keep forgetting about Azumarill, bro.
The Charizard, the Lucario. I'm coming for your soul, boy. I don't care how PC Don wants to be. Now talk about his matchup. No. I'm at your neck, boy. Coming for you on Friday.
I was going to ask you about this. I thought about this with Brian in the car yesterday. What is the Charizard's mode on your team? Are you going to run that with, like, Hurricane? Or, like, what's your overall season like?
I'll be honest with you. I'll share it with the league and everybody. I have 2 Charizards, both G-Max. I have a solar power one, which is the special sweeper. And then I have a physical Charizard, which is, I'll be honest, it runs Thunder Punch, Beat Up, Acrobatics, and Flare Blitz, or whatever that physical fire move is that does 120. I forget what it's called. Like, I think it is Flare Blitz. Yeah, I have that on them just for the coverage.
You should build a third one that's just Blaze with special.
I should. I just don't have a third G-Max Charizard.
Be out here grinding with raids.
Trying to get there, bro.
I think overall, like, that's just gonna be like a great matchup. Like, Porygon Z can sweep, but you can sweep with Dragapult, Kingdra, Pelipper right away. Azumarill has back in the back. You don't lead Azumarill most of the time, but that thing can come back and haunt him. I mean, Steel Roller takes away his Psychic Surge like right away.
Immediately.
That's like the ultimate counter.
And
his terrain shenanigans.
And that's what I think. That's what I like about it is, like, if he leads that in DDD Hatterene, Azumarill's coming out and it's going straight into that Hatterene. Like, you better have follow me up because Steamroller's coming by. I think my favorite matchup of the week is Brian versus Mitch.
Brian, we're talking about you now. We're talking about your matchup with Mitch. I'll be here. We're talking about you and Mitch if you want to hop in. All right, he wrote something for us live.
Oh, he
this dude played Discord. How the hell you played Discord?
Hey, right. Who do you like this game?
I think Brian's gonna win. I know. See, so as someone who's also close with Mitch, losing to Mitch, and someone who's lost to Mitch, losing to Mitch is one of the worst things that can possibly happen to you. It ruins your entire season. your morale is like very low. It's embarrassing unless he just comes out like on fire with every single person this year and like makes a change, like and becomes a better battler. It's worse. And I know Brian will not stand for losing to Mitch. He will come out with the tech to beat Mitch. I predict Brian to win 2-0, and I don't think it's going to be close because I know that Brian will not lose to Mitch. That's my prediction. I don't think there's a chance.
You don't think Brian will lose to Mitch?
No, absolutely not. I'm not saying that because I'm sitting in this living room.
I got Mitch.
Oh my God. Talk about it. Why?
Okay. One, I think here's the problem. Okay. This is kind of where we were talking about what I was talking about with Brian's team. Because he can bring the bear tick for the swift swim. But like,
Right.
I don't really think the bear tick does any damage to this team as much as it would like my team with all the dragons. You know what I mean? So
Right.
he has the swimmer, which is good. But like, bro, I don't know, man. This is just tricky. This is just tricky. Like,
I'm just taking that as like who's a better battler, who's more strategic, in both those points of Brian.
well, I don't know if I know
matchup
Brian's a better
matters.
battler, but is Mitch more a thinker? Is Mitch Aristotle and we just don't know?
Mitch doesn't make reads. The only time Mitch ever made reads is when he beat me. And I mean, I've talked about it. I don't think I've ever talked about it with you though. When Mitch beat me, it was with Brian's team. Brian drafted a team, and he had some family matters, so he couldn't participate in the season. So he gave the team to Mitch, and that team countered my team. It was a single team, but it countered my team so well that I couldn't do anything to beat him. And he put like one or two moves. He changed a couple TMs. That's all he needed to beat me, and he did. So maybe Mitch can come up with something that we didn't realize, but I hope he does not look at. He's the type of person that like looks at type advantages, like which type advantages are very important, but like they're not everything,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if Mitch thinks outside the box, then maybe there's a chance, but I don't know, man. I still got Brian in that matchup. Talking about your matchup with, yeah. So
I could see I could see Brian winning. I just want Mitch to win because I got Mitch in the playoffs.
yeah, you gotta talk about that later. We'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the game of the week real quick.
Game of the week.
So at the time of the re-recording, the match has been completed. We got the what was his name? The Mudsdale Stomping Tantrums beating the team that has Mudsdale on it. The Galarian Glades 3-0, 4-0, or 4-0, 3-0. One of the two.
It was a 2-0 victory. That's all I know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking back at the messages right now. Texting him back, and he said that the 6 that Adam brought were Mimikyu, Tyranitar, Corviknight, Magnezone, Melodic, and Chandelure. So no Crook, but this man brought some offensive firepower. And I guess Blake brought Bronzong, Togetic, Mudsdale, Gyarados, Alchemy, and Hitmontop, which doesn't sound like it has much offensive pressure. So I think the story of the battle was that this is what Adam said. He said he made a good read on his Mudsdale when he switched it in and OHKO'd it. So then from there, it was just like smooth sailing. And then he said he one of the matches, the Gyarados knocked out his Melodic. It took 2 hits. But he also doubled Bronzong, thinking that he he said he switched out his Bronzong, thinking that he was targeting the Togetic, but he double targeted the Bronzong slot, and then he brought in Mudsdale, and they killed the Mudsdale. He said the matches were close, even though the score doesn't show it. And he said that he was very scared. It was battle of the week, and the tensions were high. And he said on Blake's end that Blake Dynamax Hitmontop and Gyarados. So I don't know what kind of Hitmontop he was running, but Hitmontop's usually used as like a utility intimidator. So if he had Dynamax it, then he probably wasn't in a great spot. And then Gyarados, I don't know what the Gyarados did. I don't have all the information on the battle, but he just didn't bring enough offense, I guess, to beat Adam's team because it's naturally bulky enough, but also has a lot of offensive firepower. I don't think he had like a good answer for it. I don't think his matchup was that great either because maybe Q caused the problem, most of the problem on most of the mons on Blake's team.
If you were Blake, what six would you have brought?
See, even though he has Mimikyu, I think that I still would have brought Hydreigon because that's like his best mode of beating some of the mons. Like Focus Blast, even though risky, could have brought that. Darmanitan, like a banded superpower, that definitely kills Tyranitar. So
It has to, right? Like I feel like
yeah,
that has to.
yeah. So those are probably some of the things I would have brought. I probably wouldn't have tried to stall out his team because I think Adam's team is bulky enough where it didn't matter.
Yeah, I feel
So
like I
I would
see
have
I
tried to
see his
offensive
point.
and
I kind of see where he was going, I guess, with like the Bronzong Mudsdale, but I feel like Adams just got the wrong team to try that.
yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe he was trying to set up Trick Room or like follow me support with Togetic, but I don't know. I don't think it was
Togetic.
there. He loves Togetic. Ask him about it. He said it was better than Togekiss. I think he was joking, but
He
I don't know.
probably wasn't.
Who knows with him?
This
So
is
if we're
that's
looking at the, I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
no. This is just interesting. Like I'm just looking at these two teams, and I just
Yeah,
wonder
so
what Blake led.
yeah, I don't know what he led. I don't have all the information, but I don't know how much training Blake or like planning Blake's been doing. I think he's been pretty busy, so I expect next battle against Adam, if they battle again, I think they do. It'll be closer. So
Yeah, I know
we'll see though.
he'd put in the chat he's been working a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I definitely understand that. I just feel like how do you leave Darmanitan on the bench for this matchup?
I don't know. I really don't.
Because like you're only really afraid of like a Milotic Starmie, and if
Yep.
he brings those, I feel like the Darmanitan you could play around the Milotic. The Starmie would be a lot harder to play around because it's so fast.
Yeah,
But I feel like you could have played around Darm the Milotic.
possibly. I don't know. I think that it was just a bad matchup. It was an early week matchup, so there might not have been as much time for planning. So who knows? But the last thing we got for today is the playoff predictions.
Yes,
And
sir.
I think we compared the divisions last week, like who's stronger. I think that like the Shield division has more balance because I've like curated a response after we talked last time about the divisions. I feel like the teams are stronger and like more balanced on the Shield, but like the Sword has like this heavy hitting battlers, and like they have teams with a lot of potential. You know, we talked about that a little bit last time. But what do you think? Let's start with the Sword division. What are your predictions for the Sword division?
So like we were saying, top four from each division make playoffs.
Yes, sir. So 8 playoff teams.
8 playoff teams in total.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at it just season alone, or off the rosters alone, my four out of the sword or the shield, yeah, no, the sword. Sorry, um, would definitely have to be. I think I had Adam as the 1 seed.
Ooh. Okay.
I think Adam
Okay.
repeats as the 1 seed. I think you
Ooh.
come in. I think you or Fuku come in at the 2 or 3,
Okay.
and then that final spot I think is going to be between Mitch and Blake. And I
Well,
think
last time you made the proclamation, so you better make it again.
I had Mitch. I said Mitch.
Okay. Yeah.
Because here's
You
my
heard it
thing.
here
I
first.
feel like you, Fuku, and Blake are all.
I think last time you said Adam wasn't even in the playoffs.
Yeah, I didn't have him in the playoffs in my original uh, thing, but then like I thought about it and I was like, he's way too good of a player with way too good of a team to like think
Yeah.
he's not going to make the playoffs. Like I think he'll end up being like having a 10, 11, maybe even another 12-win season.
Oh, man. Well, there's that means he has to go 12-2.
Yeah.
But who knows? Possible.
It's definitely possible. But like I was saying, I think you, Fuku, and Blake are all like right there. I think you have the better team out of the three of you, but
Mhm.
Fuku has a higher ceiling.
That's possible.
Like,
I mean, I might have to make some trades to really, you know, harness the potential, but we'll see what happens.
yeah. And
Fuku's team seemed to be crazy, but it's not. Not now.
who's your four out the
I
sword?
think it. I think I had. I know I had myself in there. Humbly, I had myself. I think I had Blake in there. His team is. He's just a good battler. I think he'll come out of it. I know I had Adam in there. I can't remember the seeding. I think I had myself at the one seed though, which is wild. I don't think there's any way in hell Mitch makes the playoffs. I think you're crazy for even assuming it's a possibility. And I think for the four seed, I think it's like definitely a 6-man race. Until I see more out of Mitch, I can't. I can't. That's like me saying that the Bengals are going to make the playoffs this year. It's just not. It's just not feasible.
8-8.
I don't care how much they've improved. I don't think so. But I think that the four seed will end up being Cuckoo, just based on like what I've heard of him as battler, and like I do think that he'll be able to make a couple deals that possibly get him into that fourth spot. But I would not sleep on Jacob or Benny's team. They're both pretty strong, and Jacob, even though he was like that was his first season battling last year, really playing competitive Pokemon at all, and he made the playoffs and he won a game. He beat Noah Baker, so I think there's definitely a chance that he sneaks back in the playoffs. And I wouldn't sleep on Benny's team if he makes a couple different transactions at the bottom of his roster, or just like really cleans up what he's trying to do, like really to support that sand. He could definitely be that fourth spot. Even though Blake lost today, I'm still, everyone else is at 0-0. I still think that Blake will get in. I think his team. I don't know if his team's that good. I think it's decent, but I don't think that. I think his battling, as long as he harnesses the mix and like tries to be more power oriented rather than gimmicky, I think he can pull it out. He just has to be. He has to, really make the right decisions.
For sure. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to say I'm slept on or I'm sleeping on Jacob or Benny. It's just more of like I know Jacob's a good battler. I just feel like on paper, his team is a little bit inferior to like you or Adam, and then
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to make as many moves as like a Fuku or Blake. But I don't know if he's a better battler than Fuku or Blake. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's got a better
Yeah. We don't know
team
anything about his
than
battling.
them.
I never battled him.
Yeah, and then Benny's got a solid four, but I've never seen him play, so I don't want to like hype him up. But I also don't want to say
Yeah.
he's. I don't know. I don't think he's bad because I don't think you guys would have let him in this league if he was. So
Yeah. I mean, I think like I'm looking at the teams and like I think there's a difference between like you could have like a great four, and like a crappy six, or like a great four, couple average, and then like a really bad bottom. I think like the best teams have at least 7 to 8, even more like solid Pokemon that they could use, because like I think Jacob last year, like he brought like the same six like every single time. Occasionally would switch out like one Pokemon. Like I feel like if like what your opponent's bringing every single time, it will hold you back at a certain point. I think that's been Jacob's like, yes, he used these 6 Pokemon really well. That's kind of like on ladder. But if you can actively plan for those, then it's gonna hold you back in a draft league where you can just plan against it. When I played Jacob, I beat him, but he did take one game off of me. But I was playing like extra cautious to make sure I knew every single mode of his team. And then the third game, I was like, I know I have to do this, and if I do this, I will win. And I did. So I think if Jacob like mixes his teams up, it could be a different season for him. He could really get right back in the playoffs and be more threatening.
yeah,
I don't know if I'm talking too much. Just please cut me off.
no, I don't think you're talking too much, bro. This is what we're supposed to do. This is the coach's lounge.
True, true. All right, we got back to last thing. We got that Shield division,
Best division in the league.
the Eastern Conference.
Hey, I don't. You can't even call us the East because no one sucks out here. No one sucks over there either. But I just think from 1 to 7, you're gonna have battles, like
Yeah,
battles, like
yeah,
Noah T, Noah B, Justin, Josh, Xavier, me, Brian. Like it's gonna be you're gonna like week in and week out, you're gonna be like, all right, well, what the heck? Like I was saying, on the deleted on the lost files, um,
The
I
lost files.
yeah, on the that's what we're gonna call it, the lost files. I think you guys will end up having like on the sword division, there'll be like one or two 10-win teams. I don't think we'll
Right.
see a 10-win team on the on the shield division just because everyone is like right there. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I could see. I think I had Justin as the 1 seed,
Interesting.
myself as the 2,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Noah Baker at the 3,
Ooh,
and
I
then
can't remember who you gave the 4 seed.
I think I had Xavier as the 4.
Ooh, okay,
But I could
okay.
see
Well,
Noah T sneaking in there too.
yeah.
He's our reigning conference champion.
True. I think that I mean the divisions did get switched a little bit. So like last year I was not in Mitch's division. This year I am. We did move the divisions around a little bit with the addition of the new team.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did like the best job possible of like possibly creating rivalries. Like yes, you and Mitch will not be an old man rivalry, but like you got like Josh and Xavier who are also cousins. They're also playing each other. You still have the cousin connection on my side. You got Brian and Noah, former neighbors. Noah Baker, they've been neighbors, so they've always had like a rivalry a little bit. You got you and Justin on the same bracket. Like that's definitely a rivalry. You got Mitch and Jacob who like live together. So I think that those really exist like pretty strong this season. But as my opinion, I'm making a playoff prediction. Like you said, like your mixed prediction might just like look terrible in a couple weeks, but this is a prediction. So I think my number 1 seed. I think I said it was you. I think you'd be the number 1 seed. I think your team, like top to bottom, like this, the rain set up even without Polytoad is super strong. Drag Bolt can do so many different things, especially in draft league. That's so imperative. Like having a Pokemon that can use at least 10 different moves, different spreads. Be ran a little bit more bulky or like super offensive. Support. Like that Pokemon has so many different modes. It's probably like I think it like definitely should have been number 1 consideration, but like I understand why it fell to you because it's Dragon Ball. People like pretend like it doesn't exist, but they love it at the same time. I just think your mode of weather is so strong, especially with Dracovish in the back just lurking. Oh man! And you do have beat up support with Lucario, and you have the agent Taparaja, so that changes things. I'm not a big fan of the Luxray pick, but I understand why people like that Pokemon.
It's
So
intimidate.
yeah, intimidate guts. I know. I know why people like Luxray, but I don't think it's that good. But if I'm looking at the divisions, I think number 2 seed. I think I got. I think I said Noah Baker number 2, even though it's weird because you guys are both on call when I was hyping you up. I think his team is just too strong. He's like a good battler, and he has like a real sense on meta. He knows what people are gonna bring. He knows how Pokemon are normally used, and he has like versatility on his team. He has Noose. He's really good at using those annoying Pokemon, so shit like Amoonguss. Like I think, and now he has screen supports, and he has a well balanced team. Like if you look at his team, he has at least like 10, 12 different typings that are like viable. So I think his team is just going to be one of the teams to beat, and he's one of the best battlers we have. So he's definitely going to be up there. I think the 3 seed I said it was Brian,
I think you did say
and
Brian on the
I
Lost
think I've
Files.
discussed it at length. Like his team is strong, and I know if he comes back and what he used to, his team's going to be a problem. And as soon as he starts to get like more of a hold on the meta and like what moves and like what things are used, he can like put that into his own team. I think it's going to be an issue. And something like Rotom Wash is like so versatile in draft, and Sylveon just does so much damage, and he has like this incredible mix of like special damage and physical damage. Like Sylveon can put so much from the special side, and he has Gabon, he has Cinderace, he has Urshifu. Like those Pokemon are doing a lot of damage physical side. He can wear people down quickly. He's not the bulkiest, but like he has some Pokemon that have natural bulk, so he has to know like I think he can really realize how to protect his mons, like Urshifu, like keep it away from special hits. Don't get it burned. But like Cinderace can just come in the back every single game and just press button.
And just press
That's
buttons.
how
I
that's
like
how
that.
it works. You know, half the time you don't even need to run a fire move every single time because of its stability.
Oh yeah, it's
So
Greninja 2.0.
yeah, so I think if he learns how to use that, I think it'll be a problem. I think my last team, I think we talked about. I think it was like either you put no Troyer in or I put no Troyer in, but I think like just based on like the roster alone, I think like you have to put like for now, I think you have to put Justin in that 4 spot because this team is just so strong. You know, but there's ways to beat it. But I don't know if the best teams to beat it are in that division besides Bernard Troyer. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if Brian had the Dark Urge too, he might be saying something different, but he doesn't. But like, I'm just looking at it and like, I don't really see how much ways there are to stop this team. So for that reason, I'm gonna say Preston is in, but I definitely could see all of the teams in the Shield division making it in. Like Noah Troyer is a good battler. If he makes a couple moves, or if he just like battles really well, like even that team, he could sneak it into the playoffs at like 4 seed. Josh, we don't know. I battled Josh once, and he was a good battler. Wheezing and Porygon too, that's a problem in any way. I don't even want to talk about that singing, dancing, Mr. Rhyme. Like it's not worth my time to talk about that. But it seems bulky and it could be an easy issue. Who's the other team in that division? Oh, Xavier.
Yeah,
Oh, his
Big
team's
Zav.
good too. Like the problem is like all of these teams like have like can easily be in. Like I could see. I think you said last time like Xavier's gonna be like on the cusp, like 1 or 2 games out, and I definitely see that again. Like last year was his first season battling, but I feel like at the end of the last season he had like a really strong surge. He beat me 2-0. He was the only person to beat me 2-0. Like his team, like if he uses it well, and I know he's been practicing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
getting a lot better. If he can easily be in the playoffs. He can easily be as like high as a 2 seed. You know, his team is that good. So I really don't know how the season's gonna go, but I do know one thing that I'm coming for blood again. I can't just sit on my. I can't go from like, not making the winning the championship to not making the playoffs. Like I have to keep the chip on my shoulder. That's how I am as a person. I think you're like that as a person too. I can kind of tell. It's like you're the type of person that has like a chip on their shoulder. Like for you, you didn't make playoffs last year.
Yeah, I
You have
did.
something to prove now. So you have to go out there and get it.
Dom, I made the playoffs
Justin
last
got
year.
shafted out of playoffs. But you did make the playoffs last year. Oh, it's because you were in the Shield division.
Whoa, we're not gonna do that.
I'll go there.
I made the playoffs and I beat.
No, you didn't. You lost to Noah.
I lost to Noah in the semifinals.
You beat in the first round.
I'm
Now,
about to go. Bro, I'm almost positive I lost to because I know I lost to Noah in the semifinals. I forget who I beat in
nah,
the first
I
round.
watched the match. It was you and Noah.
In the
And then
semis,
Noah
right?
played. Yeah, and then so it was no. It was the quarter. It was like the quarters. So there was 3 rounds of playoffs. It was like the first matchup because there was 4 teams in each division. So it was in your division. It was you, Noah Baker, Jacob, and Noah Troyer. And then you lost to Noah Troyer, and then Noah Troyer beat Jacob because Jacob beat Noah Baker. So it was
Oh
like
yeah, you're
quarters.
right. You're right. You're right. You're
So,
right.
yeah, I
You're
had.
right. I knew I made the
I had.
playoffs though. Like we were not about to sit here and
Yeah,
you weren't about to hoe me out my playoffs. Talking about yeah, you didn't make the playoffs last year. I knew I lost to
Did you go
Noah.
500? Yeah, yeah. Did you go 500?
I was under 500, 7-9. So that's where my head's at.
Yeah, you gotta get above that. I
Hey,
feel like Justin, like for example, like he got shafted out of his last battle, and like he could have at least got to 500, but now because of that, like look, he didn't make the playoffs, but he lucked out in the lottery. He got the first pick. He got Rillaboom. He has Alakazam. He kept in DBF. That those 3 Pokemon are strong as hell.
yeah.
No way around it. He has Talonflame. This easily a team that can sneak right in the playoffs. Not even sneak, just like dominate.
I was gonna say he might walk into the playoffs.
Yeah, there's so many. I think it just depends on like how people are battling, what their matchups are, and that's the point of the coaches lounge. Like after this first week of the preview, it's gonna be a longer episode. I think this might be longer than the episode that we recorded with Noah,
Yeah.
but, but that's fine. I feel like going forward, we'll just preview the matchups and we'll get more in depth into those.
Yeah. I mean, we also weren't on a time restraint because last time we had to go pick up Brian.
Yeah, now we're just bullshitting, and now I'm still here at Brian's house, so look at that. But all right, I don't know. Do you got anything else to add?
No, man. I feel like this is great. episode 1 of the Coaches Lounge.
All right, all right. Well, I'll sign off. I guess I'll sign us off. So I'm Dominic. That was Brandon. That was episode 1 of the Coaches Lounge, featuring a couple ad libs from Brian Pollard. So we'll check you guys on the next one.
We'll see you later.